Okay, so this is Wayne the Crimson Eye here, and I've decided, since I've finally gotten most of my thoughts together, I figured I'd talk about the recent Nintendo Switch reveal. So, a lot of things were shown off about the system, with exception to its actual hardware specs, which I think a lot of people are chomping at the bit to see. But a lot of things were shown about the system itself. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the Joy-Con. First of all, the Joy-Con controllers are ridiculously priced. You go onto any website, including Nintendo's own website, this thing will run you upwards of, 80 bones, which I honestly think is kind of ridiculous in an era where controllers these days typically cost, $60 or less. Next thing I'd like to talk about is, the kind of stuff that it can actually do. And this particular feature has gotten some pretty mixed reactions. I myself actually have some pretty mixed feelings about it, and honestly, I could see this coming a mile away. The Joy-Con controllers are basically going to act somewhat as, Wii controllers. It has a lot of motion control capabilities. It also has a really advanced rumble feature, which I thought was pretty fascinating. But yeah, this thing seems to be able to produce some of the same things that the Wii could do. So it's kind of like the Wii's motion controls meets the Wii U's tablet style controller, which isn't inherently bad. I mean, so long as the motion controls are properly utilized, then I think that this could be pretty awesome. But there's also this fear that I have that this really cool technology may just be relegated to tech demos, and that's really something that I don't want to see. I mean, the idea of innovation is to actually keep gaming moving forward. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Joy-Con controllers. Not a whole lot is known about whether or not this game will come bundled with other games. I'm assuming it will, because that's pretty much something that consoles have been doing for many years. And the battery life, which has been a major concern for a lot of people. The battery life seems to vary anywhere between 2 to 6 hours, depending on what kind of game you're playing or what you're really doing with it. I think that is a relatively decent battery life for a console that's going to, be packing this kind of power. And I heard that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would get 3 hours of battery life out of the Switch, which is pretty impressive, considering the scale of that game. But yeah, the battery life, which is a major concern, it has been addressed. The price point, it wasn't quite everybody's ideal price point, but I do think that it does hit a very happy medium between what we were fearing and what we were hoping. Basically, this thing will be costing $300, so I think that's a pretty decent starting price for a new console, especially one like the Nintendo Switch. Let me see. But when it comes to competing with other consoles, Nintendo's never exactly been about that. But the thing is, something like that does need to be taken into account, because these days PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones will run you about $250, which is a far beefier system. But I guess then again, you could also argue about the fact that, you know, this console is got touchscreen controls. It also has it's also portable, so that's going to be a huge plus for a lot of folks, myself included. So the $300 price point, I'm actually pretty happy about. And I think now I would like to go into one of the major concerns of the Nintendo Switch, and that is its launch lineup. It's the launch, aside from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's actually not looking too hot. I mean, even hell, if you look up Nintendo Switch games, you aren't going to see very much as it is. A couple of games were shown off at the Nintendo Switch presentation, a couple of which I was actually pretty stoked about. First one I'd like to start with is I believe it was called Project Octopath Traveler, which is supposed to be a JRPG from Square Enix, and I thought that the style was pretty cool looking. I think it's going to be a nice throwback to the JRPGs, and these days I play those kind of games on portable consoles anyway, so I think that something like that would be very ideal for me. And Super Mario Odyssey, that's going to be like it's going to be the first major 3D Mario game since Super Mario Galaxy, which I've still not played, but yeah, the Super Mario Odyssey, I'm actually really excited for it. What sucks though is that we won't be seeing this game come out until the holidays, and I really don't know what to say about that. It's just, you know, I'm kind of disappointed. You know, it's a cool looking Mario game. I really want to play it. And also Splatoon 2 was unveiled at this event, and I gotta be really honest, I was not too impressed with the announcement. Not having played the first Splatoon myself, I'd heard a lot of great things about it. Well, it looks like decent fun, but the thing is that Splatoon 2, the announcement trailer, does a really bad job of differentiating itself from this first Splatoon, at least from a surface level. But for all I know, it could be very good. Now, let's also move on to another game called ARMS, which looks to be a new Nintendo IP, which I thought was pretty cool that Nintendo was actually starting off the Switch that way with, you know, a new series, a new potential series anyway. What I'm a little concerned about is how it's controlled. This is a case of kind of bad, not really bad, but I would say contrived motion controls, where stuff like this could be, the stuff that they pull off in the game could just as easily be pulled off with a button. And the motion controls don't seem to really do a whole lot for the game, even though they probably could. But I mean, it looks like decent fun. It doesn't look like $60 worth of fun if that's really all it's gonna be. I mean, hopefully they design some cool new modes for it. But yeah, Dragon Quest 11, another game that I believe was announced back when the Switch was still called the NX. It was confirmed for the NX, and after taking a look at some recent footage, I actually thought it looked pretty cool. That's definitely going to be a title that I'm going to be very invested in. Another gripe that a lot of people seem to have in the beginning when the Switch was first announced was the size of the controllers. I myself was a bit concerned about the controllers. according to the folks at Nintendo Treehouse, it seems to fit in your hands pretty well. But the thing is that this is barely bigger than the size of, you know, a Nintendo 3DS, and those, I mean, after a little while, your hands might get a little cramped, you know, playing a game like that. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love playing my 3DS. But the thing is that I feel like I could get cramps a lot quicker with this particular style of controller. I mean, I could very well be wrong, but yeah, the controller still to me looks a bit small. But people in Nintendo are saying, no, it fit in your hand just fine. So I mean, I guess I'm not gonna hold my breath about it, but I will. I am definitely hopeful for something like this. Here's a whole list of games that have been confirmed for the Nintendo Switch, which I just pulled up on CNET. Splatoon 2 looks alright. Super Mario Odyssey, looking forward to it very much. Fire Emblem Warriors looks okay. I can't really judge because no gameplay has really been shown. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, kind of indifferent to that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are, you know, seeing as how the Elder Scrolls have just now been ported to PS4 and Xbox One, and people are gonna have to shell out money for a third time. Although this is a portable experience, so it could be a big reason to get it for Switch. Next up, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which could have just as easily been Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart has never exactly been big on innovation, if I gotta be real honest here. So it looks okay. I played Mario Kart 8 on my Wii U. It was pretty fun, but it was a rental on GameFly, and I returned it pretty shortly afterward. Next we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now I might be interested in this just because the creator of the series is the same dude who created Xenosaga, which is like one of my favorite JRPG series of all time. You know, great story, great gameplay, everything. FIFA, I can't, at least of the people who really care, I don't think anybody really cares. I mean, it might be a good leg up for the Switch. Now, finally, I want to talk about this new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild trailer, and because I love this. I love the trailer so much. This is my most anticipated game of 2017. It'll definitely be the reason that I'll be getting the Switch, because I mean, unfortunately, you know, my Wii U is in storage right now, and again, the Nintendo Switch is portable, so I mean, how can you argue with that? But the trailer, oh my god, it looked, I was in tears when I watched that trailer, just from what the fights looked like, and from the voices, especially Zelda. If you watch the trailer, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it looked like a very emotional. It was a very emotional trailer. I think that this could perhaps be one of the most story-driven Zeldas to date, and it could perhaps be one of the most epic since Ocarina of Time. And a lot more of the game was actually shown off at Nintendo Treehouse. Not a whole lot, but just basically folks taming horses who are not Epona, which I thought was pretty cool. I think that one thing that can be said about this game is that it has a ton of attention to detail, and that is just one thing that it's one of the many things I'm going to appreciate about this game. But yeah, words cannot describe how much I am looking forward to this game. But yeah, I think this is going to conclude my little Nintendo Switch spiel. I am very much looking forward to it. I think there's some some very good things going for it. Some potentially underutilized features, unfortunately. But ultimately, I think that this is something that could fit both the casual and the hardcore audience. You know, something that the Wii U couldn't do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Nintendo Switch, and I'm sure many of you folks are too. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to me talk, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.